All right, let's talk about something you probably have within arm's reach right now. Batteries. Yeah, the little things that power our entire world. But what you might not know is that there's a whole set of hidden rules and hidden dangers when it comes to shipping them. It's way more complicated than you'd think.
Okay, quick question for you. Just look around wherever you are right now. Your office, your living room. What do you think is the most dangerous thing in there? Seriously, the big power drill in the corner? The kitchen stove? Well, I'm willing to bet the answer is gonna surprise you. Because, the real risk? It's probably hiding in plain sight. It's tiny. We're talking about the incredible amount of energy squeezed into those little lithium-ion batteries. And if one of those gets damaged, it can trigger something called thermal runaway. It's this nasty chemical chain reaction where the battery just gets hotter and hotter, catches fire, and sometimes, it can literally explode.
And I mean, think about it. They are everywhere. The phone in your pocket, the laptop on your desk, that power bank in your bag, even your kids' toys, your wireless earbuds. They've all got one. Now, one little battery on its own, usually not a big deal. But when you're shipping them by the pallet, by the thousands in a single container, whoa, that's a whole different ballgame.
So here's what we're gonna break down. We'll look at the power packed in these things, an important exemption in the shipping rules, what those rules actually are, and the big safety test behind it all. And you'll definitely want to stick around for the end, because we're going to talk about a critical missing piece in the whole system.
All right, Section 1, the power in your pocket. So really, why is this such a huge deal? It's all about preventing a single failure from turning into a massive, unstoppable fire.
So here's the crazy part. Even though these things are technically dangerous goods, they're often shipped without that big, familiar Class 9 diamond label you see on other hazardous stuff. And that creates a massive blind spot. People moving the cargo might have no idea they're sitting on a potential firebomb inside a shipping container, all because it's just a bunch of consumer electronics.
So how does the industry handle this? Well, that brings us to a really important rule, Special Provision 188. You can think of it as the special pathway that lets almost all of our everyday gadgets get shipped across the globe.
Now this is super important to get right. SP 188 is an exemption, not an exception. What's the difference? Well, think of it like a deal. The regulators say, look, if you follow this very specific set of rules, every single one, to the letter, we'll let you ship these with fewer headaches. But if you mess up even one tiny thing, boom, the deal's off and your shipment is now fully regulated dangerous goods, which is a whole other world of complexity.
And the stakes for getting this right, they're huge. If you qualify under SP 188, you get to skip the big Class 9 labels, you don't have to fill out a complicated shipper's declaration, and you don't need to put those big placards on the shipping container. For anyone in logistics, that means saving a ton of time, money, and paperwork. It's a really big deal.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. What are these rules? What do you actually have to do to qualify? Well, it all kicks off with the size and the power of the battery itself.
All right, if you remember one number from this whole thing, make it this one. 100 watt-hours. That's the magic number. For a lithium-ion battery, the kind in your laptop or power bank, the entire battery has to be at or below 100 watt-hours. If it's 101, nope, it's immediately kicked into the fully regulated Class 9 category, no exceptions. And if we zoom in a little closer, the rules get even more specific. It's not just about the whole battery pack. There are also limits on the individual cells inside the battery. For lithium-ion, that's 20 watt-hours per cell, and again, 100 for the whole battery. The whole point here is to limit the amount of energy packed into any one spot to keep things from getting out of control if something goes wrong.
Okay, so once you've got the size right, it's all about the packaging. This part is non-negotiable. First, you've got to pack them to prevent any short circuits. Then, they need to go in some kind of inner packaging, which then goes inside a strong, rigid outer box. And here's the kicker. That final box has to be tough enough to survive a 1.2-meter drop test. You heard that right, a drop test. Plus, the whole package can't weigh more than 30 kilos, and it needs the right lithium battery mark on the outside.
But listen, a tough box is only half the story. The rules are all based on one huge assumption, that the battery itself is actually safe to begin with. And how do we know that? Well, that leads us to maybe the most important part of this whole puzzle, a safety standard you've probably never heard of, UN 38.3. And this is so key. Safety doesn't begin when you're taping up a box. It starts way back at the factory. Before a single battery design is allowed to be shipped, it has to prove it's tough enough. It has to go through a whole gauntlet of really brutal tests. And yeah, there's no way around this. A sample of the battery design gets put through hell, basically. They simulate high altitude, extreme temperatures, they shake it, they shock it, you name it. If, and only if, it passes all of those tests, the design gets a UN 38.3 certification. Then, the manufacturer has to create a standard document called a test summary. And that document, that's the golden ticket. It's the one piece of paper that proves this specific battery design is safe to ship.
Which brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. And honestly, this might be the most important part. We've got the rules, we've got the tough packaging, we've got the proof from testing. So, we're all good, right? Well, not exactly. There's a huge gap in how this all works in the real world.
And it all boils down to this one little phrase buried in the regulations. It says, the test summary must be made available upon request. Think about what that means. The proof of safety exists, but the manufacturer doesn't have to just hand it over. The whole system relies on someone, the shipper, the carrier, actually asking to see it.
I mean, just let that sink in. This one document is the only way for a shipping company to know for sure that the thousands of batteries in that container have passed those crucial safety tests. It's the line in the sand between a product that's been proven safe and one that's a total unknown, a potential hazard.
So, this is the question we've got to ask. If that test summary is the key that unlocks the door to safety, what good is the key if nobody ever asks to use it? Right now, a lot of carriers just aren't asking for it. It really seems like the simplest, most effective way to close this dangerous loophole would be to make that document a mandatory part of every single shipment. Just ask for the key. Thanks for watching.